So my name is Darren Dahl, and I'm a professor at the University of British Columbia. And what I do is I study consumers. I'm a consumer psychologist, and I'm interested in how consumers interact and make the decisions they do in the marketplace. There's no question that when you think about yourself as a consumer, you think that you pretty much know exactly what you want, and you're pretty much made up your mind when you go into a store. But what my research shows is exactly what you say, is we as consumers are not islands. We can be influenced by other consumers, we can be influenced by salespeople, and in some ways we can get pushed one way or the other, right, by these influences. And so the research that I do tries to identify, what are these different forces that can influence us and can motivate us to choose one thing versus another when it comes to our purchases or our consumption. So in my talk, I talked about how when we're similar to other people or similar to salespeople, that's going to have a big impact and create connection and make us want to make the other person happy, right, and maybe buy something. And in a similar way, things like flattery, for example, can have a huge influence on us. So when a salesperson comes up to you and says, "Oh, you look amazing in that outfit today," that's going to have a big impact on you. But it may go one way if you believe that it's authentic, if it's real. It may go another way if you don't believe it's authentic and real. And even more importantly, the type of salesperson might also matter. If it's someone that's really beautiful, for example, and someone that you aspire to and you look up to and say, "Wow, they're amazing looking," that may have a different influence than if it's someone that, is just an average looking type person. And so simple things like how they converse with you, how they flatter you, how they give you a suggestion on what you should think about with respect to the purchase will really, really matter. In turn, other consumers can also influence you in the marketplace. And a good example of that would be, for example, you're in the change room and you see someone else come out wearing the same outfit that you're wearing, right? That will probably influence you. You'll look at them and you'll say, "Wow, I better not get this outfit." Or you may say, "Wow, I'm gonna get this outfit," right? Because that other person becomes a symbol or a comparison point that you wanna look at and you wanna, judge the purchase in a new light. And so to me what's interesting is you can look at all of these separate little nuances, whether it's, how they pitch the product to you, how they behave in the store, if they're nice or if they're mean, for example, how they actually interact with other consumers. All of these little nuanced experiences, right, are part of that social experiment that is shopping. This is a great question, and to be honest, that's where a lot of new research is pushing forward. Because traditionally, you'd go shopping, you'd go to the mall, you'd go to the market, and it was very people-to-people interaction. And so now we see a new type of landscape for retail and for consumers, and that's the online world. And we do know that some of the things that we see in the person-to-person, when you go to the shopping mall, some of those issues do transfer to the online world. So for example, word-of-mouth effects, right? If you look on a website and you see the ratings that people give to a product, right? You go to TripAdvisor or a chat room and you see how other people talk about the product, how many stars they give, right? That can influence your behavior. So that type of influence online, very similar to the influence we see offline. Word-of-mouth effects exist in that online world. But what might really be different, right, is the nuances of the actual interaction. And so when you're in a shopping mall and there's a real person there, right, and you can look at what they're wearing, that will be very different in an online world. In an online world, right, because you don't have the richness perhaps yet of that social-to-social interaction, right, different types of things may become more important. So aspects of the website and how the website provides you information, right, might be more important than the actual visual pictures, let's say, of that social comparison person that you might see. The online world will create more touch points, perhaps, and different touch points that are going to have an impact on you, the consumer. And that's what we need to study. It's going to be different questions and different influences. What's nice to me is that some of it will carry over. It may just exercise or manifest in a very different way.